I'm out at Blackberry Farms in Cupertino, and I want to talk a little bit about transplanting large container trees. Now this is just a guess, but I believe I'm correct. This looks like a fairly new installation. You can see that the ground is freshly dug up, and it was probably a large container, maybe a 60-inch box or something of that size. Now the trunk on this tree is about 8 inches in diameter. When you have such a large growing variety of tree that's lived its life inside of a pot, the root system becomes completely encapsulated in that pot. When you put it in the ground, that's a good thing, but you still got a lot of roots that are wrapped up in a circle and basically you just have this big root mass. So it is important to keep these trees watered more so than you would most, because the roots haven't had a chance to escape this containment. Very, very slowly these roots are going to start to develop. So in essence, by planting such a large tree, you're really not gaining a whole lot. You've got the instant tree that looks nice, but it's not a tree that's going to evolve. It's a tree that's going to limp along. And here's a prime example over here. This tree was also brought in as a large specimen tree. You can tell by the nice straight trunk and how it's been maintained. And it was put into the ground, and look at how sparse the canopy has become. It's not doing very well at all. This tree right here is doing great, and if you look at the trunk on this one, I would venture that this is a naturalized tree with a very good root system. A nursery wouldn't allow a tree to have that kind of a shape. They almost always have the nice straight trunks. Also, we have another example of a tree that was brought in as a large container tree, and it's hanging in there, but it's not thriving, it's just limping along. Another important aspect to remember is that when you have these trees that are brought in as large container trees, they are much more susceptible to many of the diseases that are taking out our live oaks. I find the Phytophthora ramorum and the Phytophthora cinnamoni much more often in a stressed tree. So you take the tree out of the nursery environment where it has constant care, constant irrigation, constant attention to all the details of what a contained root system needs, put it in the ground, and for all intents and purposes, now this tree is expected to send out a root system and survive. Well, oftentimes those crowded roots just end up girdling themselves, and you end up with an expensive tree that goes into decline, and almost better to plant acorns.